What's up, my fellow arrow-slinging savages? And welcome back to another segment of the weekly Whitetail News.
Nope.
Brian the Porn Star.
Okay,
turn that down.
Sorry.
Let's start this segment with congratulating those of you out there that have already drawn blood and put meat in the freezer. And of course, special congrats to the East Coast Trev and D-Rock for making it happen. Putting meat in the freezer and some deer on the board. You guys aren't going to clap for yourselves or anything? Nothing?
No, go ahead.
A little weird. You guys are staying humble, huh?
Well, I mean, we do what we do.
You do
right,
what
Trev?
you do. You do. Okay. For me, well, only time will tell.
That's very humble of you. I like
Thank
that.
you.
Continue, please.
And for anyone else whose season... Is that for yourself?
No, it's for you.
It's for you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We didn't even dip into our fucking season so far, but maybe next episode.
It's only been a week.
You're right.
I'm almost tagged out.
So for anyone else whose season hasn't started yet, or like me, just haven't gotten the right opportunity, well, it's coming. It'll come. It'll be
How
time
hard?
Soon. Super hard, as Mark would say.
Okay.
Now on to some news. As you all know, I enjoy shedding light on poachers. And, well, I guess having a laugh at them, too. This first one comes from Oklahoma. A lonely Oklahoma game warden found himself on a dating site in search for some love.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's insane. That's weird.
Well, he found a match who was also interested in hunting in the outdoors. All was going great until she started talking about the bruiser of a buck that she just killed and admitted to jacklighting.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty weird. Please enlighten us.
Little did she know her date was an Oklahoma game warden who she just admitted to poaching a deer. She has now pleaded guilty and is already paying fines against her illegal activity.
Really? Why does it sound like you're reading this?
What?
Why does it sound like you're reading this?
Do you think I don't prepare? You think I just come off the noggin and all this stuff?
Usually, yeah.
Well, I got to at least prepare some things.
Oh,
okay. Next up is another poacher. Ooh. Here we go. Is Caddy still in the house? Is it his stuff? Next up is another poacher who thought he could outsmart the law. Mark Gill of Indiana poached a 20-point non-typical 200-inch buck during the 2016 season, but Mr. Gill had already filled his 2016 buck tag. What the fuck?
Videvo.net.
Oh, Caddy still is here, huh? Caddy, stop it. Stop. What are you doing? Okay, thank you. So he tried to freeze the buck to fill his 2017 tag after he already... Oh, shit. Caddy, stop. Okay, thank you. So he tried to freeze the buck to fill his 2017 tag, but Gill told the wrong person and found himself on the state's poacher TIP line, also known as tip line, turned in poacher's line. Mark Gill pleaded guilty to unlawful taking of a white-tailed deer and providing false information to a check-in station. His hunting license will be suspended for 2 years, 100 hours of community service, 540 days of probation, and $741 in fines.
Wait, 70 and 700? Wait, what?
You got me there. $741 in fines.
Jesus.
Don't be like Mark. Don't illegally take deer. I don't care if it's a buck of a lifetime like this. Don't do it. It ain't worth it.
Don't do it.
No. Do you really want your hunting license to be revoked for 2 years?
I don't think I do.
No. Or do you want to do 100 hours of community service?
Depends what it's for.
Do you want 540 hours or 540 days of probation?
Only if I get paid.
Don't be like Mark. Don't be like Mark. Don't be like him. So now that archery season is here, in true East Coast fashion, I want to fill you all in our current hunting conditions here in Connecticut on the Beast Coast. Beast Coast. Today is technically the first day of fall, but it is feeling more like summer. We hit 85 degrees today with near 80-degree high temps for the rest of the week, with low nighttime temps ranging from 60 degrees tonight to low 50s throughout the week. Not quite what we're looking for, but nothing we could do about it, right, guys?
Well, I was in the woods. What about you, Ryan?
Well, I was in the woods too, but what the hell can you do about the heat?
I don't know. I had a chance of slaying another one, but I didn't.
Well, you got that nice mesh Yarick saddle, don't you?
I don't.
Well, no, you got that special one.
What is the special one?
The Modern Assassin Yarick.
Trev looks like he's a little pissed off. What's going on here?
A little bit.
Maybe because he has a Yark?
Exactly.
Oh. Fuck off, bitch!
Oh. Jeez. So
this is a slow start right now.
So with a low nighttime,
I'm trying to find all sound effects to like flip you off.
So with low nighttime temps ranging from 60 degrees tonight to low 50s throughout the week, not quite what we're looking for just yet, but we are currently a southern wind, which will change to the west northwest wind for Tuesday, and then back to a south wind for the remainder of the week. So any of you that need a south wind in the northeast here, especially Connecticut, probably Massachusetts, Cape Cod, Rhode Island, you're probably going to have about the same wind. What was that? So for those of you that hunt the moon phases, we're currently at the 37% waning crescent, turning to a 6% waxing crescent by Sunday afternoon. Get out there, put your time in, and make some memories in the woods. And that is your weekly Whitetail News brought to you by Ryan the Born Star. And you know what? Send D-Rock your fucking nudes. Send him your nudes. As nude as it gets, send him to D-Rock.
All right, enough. All you shut the fuck up. Listen up, because there's about to be some surprises that are going to blow your mind. Why East Coast Bowhunting Podcast?
Because neither one of us wear pink camo.
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look, man, I'm from Wisconsin. I listen to the East Coast Bowhunters because you don't get anything more real than these guys.
Because East Coast Bowhunting sets the standards for keeping its listeners informed on everything that matters in the hunting industry.
Nice having somebody, local and represent the East Coast boys.
The East Coast is going to saddle up.
Number one source for slaying whitetails on the East Coast.
Well, you might see Jesus if you actually shoot something, it'll get you into heaven.
Why East Coast? Why not? I'm East Coast, baby. That's how we roll. Chew on that.
Come on the show, a stranger, and you feel like one of the boys when you leave.
Because I get my hunting camp anytime I want.
There's some absolute monsters roaming the East Coast, and I think it needs a little attention, so why not bring it to the East Coast Bowhunters Podcast?
Man, because East Coast is a tight-knit crew, and y'all like me. Raw, real, no bullshit.
Because you guys are hometown boys. I love you guys.
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
This is Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bowhunter, and East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is the only hunting podcast I'll tune into.
Shabing. Welcome back to the 101 or 101st?
Yeah,
101.
101st.
101st?
I like that.
101st episode of the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. I'm your boy D-Rock here with
East Coast Trev
and
Ryan the Porn Star.
And we're winging it and slinging it. Zero outline. Why? Because it's our first podcast for season 3. And, bro, I mean, it's just going to be Raw, real, no bullshit, like the modern assassin says. I mean, we're always here for you. Thank you for letting us do 100 episodes for you. And thanks for all the support. I mean, on the real shit, the 100th episode was insane. Word, guys?
Dude, it was nuts.
It was like phone call after phone call. Actually, Trev.
Camaraderie was insane, man.
Actually,
the support.
I won't ask you. I'll ask Ryan.
What's up?
Describe.
Was Ryan here?
He was. I know. It was a vague night. I woke up with a cranked neck. I don't know. It was a rough night. But explain to us, Ryan, before we actually sat down and started recording, explain to everyone how the phone was ringing off the hook before it started recording and Trev was answering the phone. Can you take us through step by step?
You know, I'm glad you asked. So we went hunting that night. It was, our first day of public land hunting here. So the three of us went out hunting together. We came back, and of course, all you guys saw that we were advertising 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And 7:25 rolls around. I turn on the phone, and it's just blowing up. Arizona, Wisconsin, Iowa, just blowing up. And Jeff's like, answer. I'm like, no, it's not 7:30 yet. Next thing we know, Char's picking up. Hello, East Coast Trev. Trev loved it.
No. He didn't say it like that. Say how.
What do you got? You go for it.
This Trev.
Yeah. He was loving it. He's loving the burner phone, but it was awesome. It was just ringing off the hook, man. It was crazy.
It was, man.
I don't find that funny.
I thought it was like Trev.
It was Trev.
Take us through your experience because you were actually having the conversations.
No, it was awesome, man. Like, there was just a bunch of awesome fucking people that, because they would call and they'd be like, oh, this is Steven, or this is fucking, I'm like, what's up, guys? Because I know all these guys, like, firsthand and never actually talked to them on the phone. So it was wicked cool to, like, talk to them. And I was pumped about it, man. I really was. And then we got started and things went fucking haywire.
Yeah, it did, man. It was like phone call after phone call.
And we appreciate all the phone calls that came in.
Precisely. Well said, because I actually felt bad at times. Well, we all did at times that we had to cut the conversation short just to get to the next phone call.
And I guess it came out that there was actually a couple of people who called in that we didn't actually get to talk to.
I know.
Yeah. There was actually a list of them, but...
Actually, I'm glad you bring that up. If you called in and we didn't get you on the show, make sure you reach out to us because we have the recording, and we'll make sure to have you on the next recorded show on the ECB burner phone exclusively. So this way you get your 15-minute piece to say what you experienced that night. I think it's a good kind of tribute to them.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you mean that it's not going to be the last time that we used the burner phone?
Oh, definitely not the last time.
For sure.
Definitely not. I used it last night. I mean, I was peddling fucking elite bows at the corner of the hood, so. No trench coat, though. I was just in my G-string.
Just slinging.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you fit a 35 in your trench coat?
No trench coat needed.
35 trench coat?
Yeah. I just covered the jewels with the Valor. It's like 28 or something. I'm a little smaller downstairs.
Damn. Yeehaw. Oh,
So-
wrong segment.
Yeah. Wait, where are you going? Sit back down, son. Put on the headset. We gotta go through our sponsors.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Trev's
Oh
bloopers.
my gosh, we're getting instant messages right now as we speak, and it's about to get real, man. It's about to get real. So, Trev, start us off with the sponsorships. What's the first one that comes to mind, and the best thing that you like about them?
Ethics Archery. Because if you're not using ethics, fuck you. It's my favorite one to talk about.
So, what do you like about ethics?
You can ship them home. They're like the kinetic energy that they cause is fucking devastating. Honestly,
Did you use it
of course I used
on your
it.
recent kill?
Of course.
Did it knock it down, or
So my recent kill was a hard quartering away shot, last rib, and I blew the Zeus and the Ethics Archery right through the fucking shoulder bone. So
breaking
And it
breaking
kept going.
shoulders and breaking hearts?
Complete pass through. So
It's awesome. I was talking to Nikki the other day, and the Zeus has just been all over. So what we're doing is breaking shoulders and breaking hearts. Cut the Zeus loose. You know where it's at.
Hell yeah.
So Ryan, we got ethics down. What's the next sponsor you think about, and what do you like about them?
Wild Edge Inc.
Ooh,
Threw
you
your
confused
curveball
me.
there, didn't I?
Yeah. A swing and a miss for me.
The leader in mobile hunting. What I like most about them is, man, you can get up a tree in seconds. If you're good with it and you've been practicing.
Seconds or seconds?
Seconds.
Oh, okay.
Seconds with a C.
I always get confused with your.
I know you do. But you can literally, if you're efficient with it, you've been practicing with your equipment, with those steps, with that saddle, you can get up there with the perch, and you're up there within just seconds to a couple minutes, and you're at hunting height. You're ready to go, man. You can't freaking beat it for mobile hunting.
You know what? I'm glad you bring that up. That's actually really good because usually, I mean, we're all climbers at heart.
Yep.
And we always rock climbers, especially last season. With the Wild Edge step, you don't have to get that high to get... It's like a whole different evolution of a hunter. It's like you get high enough to be into cover, and then you get into these gnarly situations, gnarly trees. You got vines everywhere. As long as you have your shooting lanes, it's pretty dope. So I like that, Ryan. That's really good.
I didn't even get that high. I think I shot mine at like...
You didn't get that high?
No.
We'll get off the swag and get that good shit. So, Death Wish Coffee, the world's strongest coffee, fueled by Deathcast, is their podcast ran by the amazing Jeff, the host. Use promo code EastCoast10. As well as Ethics Archery, use promo code EastCoast10. And the reason I like Death Wish Coffee, East Coast, is because when we're waking up at 3:30, 4 a.m. in the morning, we need a pick-me-up. I mean, not to get real raw, no bullshit. I wake up, I start the pot of coffee of my Death Wish. I let the dog out because if I get up, that means he's getting up. Axel, the new hunting dog. Mm-hmm. So I let him out and do his thing outside. By then, the pot of coffee is done. I go do the deed in the bathroom, the throne, and I sit my Death Wish as I release. And it's very relaxing.
I drink Death Wish every morning on my way to work.
Every morning?
Every single morning.
One thing I do have to say, the one flaw with strong-ass coffee, you got to brush your teeth directly after.
Oh, it's straight dragon breath, as Mock would say.
Well, not even just that, the stainage.
Oh,
bro.
Yep.
If you care about your teeth, that's the only flaw. Brush your teeth after you drink Death Wish because it's that strong. I'm just saying, anything that strong is going to do some damage. So take care of yourself, but drink Death Wish because it's cracking a cup. So what's the next one you think of?
Scranton Motors and Scranton Power Sports.
Ooh, good one.
And I think of them because Caddy Cowboy just pulled into the studio.
Really?
Yep.
Seriously?
100%.
We're fucked.
Yep.
Shit.
Because he does a lot for this podcast, and the things that he does is fucking out of this world.
Dude,
and
what did he do for us?
We get to travel, Scranton, the Scranton way, man. We get cars, trucks, quads, side-by-sides.
I'm just waiting for that sled now.
I know.
The sled is next.
The sled. Hopefully a fucking jet ski at some point, a timber sled.
That'd be sick.
Caddy, come on in, buddy.
Come on in.
And he's about to do something else that's really even crazier.
Caddy,
oh, shit.
Caddy Cowboys. Close that door, son.
What is that?
You hear that sound?
No, what's that?
Oh, are we on the casting couch again?
Anybody know what that music is?
I don't know. What is it?
No, we don't know.
Let's see if we figure it out. You're up.
Come on.
101 episodes, buddy.
The Podfather. The Godfather.
There's some things going on behind the scenes.
Yep.
We just want to do something special for you.
Bring that music up to the mic so everyone else can hear it.
Oh, it's in his pocket.
And before we get started here,
oh,
Shabine.
Blueberry yum yum.
More Shabine.
More Shabine.
These are a few of my favorite
Even more
things.
Shabine.
The bullets.
The little weed nugget. Bullet takes flight.
Care of sponsors right there.
Sponsors taking care of sponsors.
That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, Caddy Cowboy.
A bunch of your guys here have been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, planning something we actually wanted. We wanted this to be for your 100th episode, but you guys had so many people call in. You guys might have noticed Caddy Cowboy did not call in on 100th episode, and that's because Trevor over here was like, let's do something really special for D-Rock on episode 101. So, this might not be perfect audio on the mics, but we got something. You're going to have to stand up.
Please
boy.
stand
Oh,
up.
boy.
Please
Oh,
stand
boy.
up.
And big shout out to Modern Assassin, who had a
Modern
big
Assassin.
role in helping out with this as well.
Wait. Say that again.
I said big shout out to Modern Assassin, who had a big role in planning this out as well. So that's why we can't wait to have video for him to watch, because he wanted to be here.
All right, cool. What you got?
All right, so Trev, give the play-by-play here, because D-Rock's not necessarily going to be on the mic as much.
Oh, shit.
So I have a relationship
Go
with
ahead, open it up.
Son, and they do a lot of the boxing events there. One of my good friends is one of the official boxing judges for every real ass boxing match in the country. So we had something a little custom made up for you so that you could show yourself off when you're at your events.
Look at that shit.
What does that say?
The Podfather.
So I got a boxing robe as you enter the ring, and the back of it says the Podfather, and underneath the ruffle, the golden ruffle, is D-Rock, and it's in gray, black, and darker gray camo. This shit is dope.
That
it's
is
fuck.
sick.
Yellow and green Mexican.
Yeah, green letters and a ton of gold around it.
Check out the other side here.
Oh my god.
That's that's a real authentic
boxing. With the
Fuck
ECB
yeah.
logo on the left breast. That shit is dope. Hold on, let me try it on.
Put that on, D-Rock. Put it on. See how she fits.
Hold on.
I had to give him your height, your weight. I had to get it all make sure that it all fit legit.
Damn.
Damn, son.
Oh, you gotta get your belt going.
So for all the people out there, describe it, porn star.
Well, I mean, D-Rock's just looking almost like a Ninja Turtle, man. You are fucking killing it. He's got the, he already described the camouflage pattern here, but he's also got the gold sash with the ECB logo. Oh, now he's doing some air fists here. Here we go. He's got the hood. He's got the belt to go with it. I mean, this is fucking awesome.
Well, he's got to crack a yum-yum for that.
Yes, he does.
We got to get a little...
Oh.
That is sick.
Shabane.
So we went back and forth with a few different designs originally, and everything was done the way you see it there, except we sent it to Garrett, and Garrett goes, "What, them motherfuckers don't got tassels?" And so we went back to the drawing board, and he's like, "That Mexican motherfucker needs some tassels."
That is awesome.
Yo.
He's shadowboxing over here for everyone.
If I was a bit of a... this is going to fucking bite me in the ass.
Don't do it.
If I was a bit of a cunt, I probably would get choked up and start crying, but I'm crying inside, man. This shit is dope as fuck. Thank you guys, man.
Well,
Thank you.
We tried to do something that was going to show... You need a trophy to show all the work you put in, man, and you guys have built something amazing and real here, and hopefully when you throw this thing on... We were going to wait till you killed Fabio and give it to you then. But we wanted to make sure
I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him.
You're going to be wearing that too, right?
I don't know if you guys remember this. Doug, Porn Stash Doug, he chimed in on the Where to Hunt podcast and gave a prediction for Fabio.
Right.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yep.
It's going to be late season in November. So that's why I haven't got Fabio. The mustache says all.
The mustache has spoken.
When you do lay him down, you got him hanging on your tripod.
You know I'm
and do your little victory dance and take your lap.
Yeah, I can't take this off. This is dope as fuck. Wow, what an intro. Intro to 101.
101
this is
intro.
The new season, boys.
Yeah.
Yo, this is how you do it. East Coast hardcore. That's how you do it. Damn.
So that's why the other camera is rolling in the corner.
You know, I was figuring that.
Man, I really, I don't even know what to say. I'm lost for words. And I always have something to say, man. Dope as fuck. Thank you, guys. Hold on, let me take these headphones off. I need bro hugs.
If you kept it quiet, I've been so giddy, dude. I've been, itching like crazy. You're like, how the fuck are we going to get them somewhere where we can get...
Man, I love you guys, for sure.
We also knew if we didn't get footage of you getting it, that you'd be pissed.
So, we got a lot of man stuff going on. We've taken away from the podcast. Things have gotten a little crazy in here, as they always do with us.
right.
And should we get back to the sponsors?
Hold
on. We're not there yet. Hold on.
Let's get Caddy Cowboy mic'd up. We need that.
We're right here.
What?
So, Trev, for the sake of our listeners, can you
So-
just kind of play-by-play what just happened?
So, for all of you, we'll kind of bring back what's actually happened. So, Caddy Cowboy showed up, as I had said, and he came into the room with a camera bearing tons of shebeen and just gave the Podfather, D-Rock, his boxing robe. Official East Coast boxing robe. This is authentic, 100% real boxing silk robe. So, right now, we're going to mic up Mr. Caddy Cowboy, get him in a chair. Ryan, can you just spin his mic around so that he's got a proper sound to him? I will turn on his mic, and we will get underway.
You turn down my headphones a little loud.
Yours are loud?
Now you look like a ninja.
That's probably why the ghost hunter was screaming.
Can we crack some windows open? I'm starting to sweat a little bit.
I don't think
I
that
feel
that's
like I'm
gonna
really
help
going to
us
get in a
any.
fight. You know what I mean?
Is it hot outside? Yeah. All right.
Oh, shit. We got ArrowWildTV calling us right now.
Should we just jump right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, just jump into it.
Johnny Utah, you are live and recording. Just to give you a heads up, man, we didn't even get through our sponsors. We apologize. Just something huge just happened. The boys did something for me right now.
The boys did something big?
Yeah, I mean, this is something very special and close to home with me. I mean,
yep.
Did someone take pictures?
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures.
Pictures and video everywhere, man.
We need to text Johnny these pictures.
Can I send it via Instagram?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do that right now, Johnny.
Okay.
Shabeen.
Yeah.
I hate to put you on the spot and be recording. It's just we didn't even get through our sponsors. This is how big this is right now. It's I'm at loss for words, man. I'm on cloud 9 right now. Not as high as you are, and we'll get to that very, very soon. And I don't mean the organic kind, but you're
right.
You're on cloud 9 too right now, right, bro?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Hell yeah,
of course.
So, I mean, let's kick it off right, man. I mean, this is probably the soonest we've had a return guest, almost back to back. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and where we can find you.
Yeah, so John Mulligan, use the current alias of Johnny Utah, but I live in Southeast Iowa, bow hunter, photographer. Anybody wants to follow along with any of my crazy lack of sleep adventures, they can check out johnny.utah.hunt, and also my hunting show, ArrowWildTV.
That's dope as fuck, man. That's dope. And you know what? We really appreciate the fact that you're bringing the breaking news to the East Coast bowhunting platform, man. I mean, we're always honored to have you on, and not just because of what's going on as the most relevant news out there in the hunting news, but also just as a friend, man, and a bro and a bromigo. It's just cool to connect.
That's right. No, likewise, man. It's like we talked about last time. I mean, unfortunately, the rest of the listeners didn't get to hear our post podcast conversations, but I mean, it was we both basically just talked about how cool it was to connect and finding like-minded people that you jive with, and you guys got some cool stuff going on, and I dig it.
Word, man, word. So, I mean, real quick, this is going to be on ArrowWildTV, correct?
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right, so let's just cut right into it, man, because I know it's right at the tip of your tongue, man. And
oh yeah.
Again, I apologize to just really because you just called in. I'm like, oh, Johnny's calling right now as we're like doing our sponsors, but everyone knows our sponsors and we support them, and you support some of them too, which is really cool. Let's just bleed right into it, man. Dive in.
Yeah. So whenever we were, when I was on the podcast last, I was heading down to Kentucky to actually go do a photo shoot down there at Whitetail Heaven. And I had already been to Ontario and chased some bears. And just a short recap. Day 3, I saw a really, really big bear. And, once you see a big bear, then you kind of got your heart set on a big bear. That's all you want to shoot. And then, I kept seeing like 100-pounders and 150-pounders and, stuff. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want. It's not what I want. My time was up. I had to leave. I had to go on a couple of photo shoots, which for me consisted of going to Northwest Alberta and then going to Kentucky. And this whole big road trip that I've been on for the past month and a half, almost 2 months, allowed me to come home like 3 nights back in Iowa. And those were just empty out the dirties, change out camo pattern, change out gear, repack the truck, and just gone again, whether I was driving or flying. But the group that I was hunting with up there in Nipigon, they're really good friends. I was introduced to them from some friends, Sam and Linda Gaylord at Old Barn Taxidermy, and they had kind of set up this hunt. And I called them and was like, hey, is there any way I can come back down there or up there? And they said, we'd love to have you back. So I called a buddy of mine, Taylor Early. He lives in Indiana. And this poor chump went out goose hunting all morning and then celebrated his birthday, then drove almost 6 hours to my house, gets in the truck. We tear ass out of here at 9 p.m. on a Sunday night. And we drive straight through to Nipigon, Ontario, which is like Northwest Ontario. We roll in there about 2 p.m., but I'm thinking it's 1 p.m. And I'm like, you know what? This is going to be pretty cool. I'm going to take me about a 2-hour nap, and then we're going to head out into the bush. And then I look at my phone. I realize there's an hour time difference. They're on Eastern time. And I'm like, oh, man, it's 2 o'clock. I'm only going to get to sleep for like an hour. So by the time I throw some clothes in a dry wash bag and my ozonic sheet, kick those things on, I realize I've got 49 minutes. So this whole thing kind of comes down to 49 minutes of sleep to make all this happen. We head out after the quick nap, took a shower, got scent free, went in.
What was that? I'm sorry to cut you off. What was that hashtag real quick that I put on your social about sleep?
Oh yeah. Let's see, was it the no rest for the wicked or sleeps for pussies? Yeah.
So, more or less, it's sleep is for the weak. Sleep is for the weak.
That's right. And so I'm on about 7 monsters at this point. You know what I mean? So, that much caffeine in a short period of time and no sleep, no water or anything. I'm like actually cramping up like really bad, in the tree stand. But we hung a set and I stand, and I typically do stand a lot anyways, but this time I knew I needed to stand a lot because if not, I'd fall asleep. And I see something large and black, to the right of me moving through the timber. And
Ryan, calm down, Ryan. Calm down.
It gets me every time.
And, like with bears, because they are solid black, those black bears, when you see them, they always look big, and then they just don't get bigger as they get closer to you. This bear just kept getting bigger. And I'm like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is a big bear. This is a big boy. To the point that we might actually, on the episode, we might do a little ticker where every time I say the word big bear, you got to do a shot.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, we do have a bottle of Tito's here.
Yeah. And it's somewhere around like 27. We know that
damn.
so far.
Just have a lot of people watching the show.
Yeah. So it keeps getting bigger, and I'm like, I look down and at my camera guy, and he's not moving, and I'm like, that a boy, he's locked in. You know what I mean? He's like a ninja. And I'm like, wait a second, his hand's not even on the camera. So I was like, Taylor. And because I can't really reach him, I'm leaning down, and I can just barely touch that little button on the top of a baseball cap. And I'm like pressing it like it's a button. I'm like, Taylor, like, wake up. So he, like a true professional, he opens his eyes, punches the record button, never moves his body at all. You know what I mean? So and fortunately the camera was already in that vicinity, so instead of looking for the bear with his eyes, he's just finding the bear with his camera, which is such an important thing for camera guys to do. Like, it's unfortunate. You get to watch the hunt through the camera. You don't actually get to watch the hunt real life, And so he's doing his thing. He gets on the bear, and I thought it was a different bear. But the big bear, boom, He's right in my shooting lane, and I'm just now starting to reach for my bow because I was looking at a different bear. There ended up being 2 bears. So, and I didn't even see the big bear. I just saw another decent sized bear. So I'm like, oh crap, that bear's even bigger, and I don't have my bow in my hand, but I don't want to reach for it because he's about 7 feet from the base of the tree, looking straight up at me.
Jesus,
what?
And
did you guys lay out bait at all, or?
Yeah. So there was a bait barrel that we were using, but it was completely empty when we walked in, and we brought some fresh bait, but the bear never went to the bait barrel. If anything, he was investigating some of the trees where we had sprayed some of that jelly donut spray from that company Bear Sense. And so he was milling around, and then he turned and he went into the timber just a little bit, but not like turned and like gone out of my life. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Grab my bow.
What about that bear right underneath your tree?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He turned, and like we're talking like a 5 foot wide shooting lane. So all he had to do was take a couple of steps, and and he's gone. He can't see me. So I grab my bow, get knocked on. I'm in position, and I'm like, all right, come on, dude. And I know he's not bugging out because that other bear's there, kind of like a buffer. So it's almost like they didn't want to be right next to each other, and it was. I don't know. It's weird to explain. It was almost like there's a big cake at the dinner table and 2 guys want it. And one guy's like, man, if I make a move for the fork, the other bear is going to come kick my ass. At least and it could just be me as much time as I've spent in Canada. Like I had conversations with chipmunks. So like it could have just been me, like making up a story, but,
that's some good shit out there then in
Canada. Yeah. It's good.
Aren't the bears very aggressive, like food aggressive, though? Bears are?
Yeah. Especially this time of year, too. I mean, we're getting closer and closer and closer, to their winter. So, I mean, they're wanting to pack on weight, and I'm sure they're wanting to eat everything they can. So the bear circles around, and then he comes back, and then he gives me a complete broadside shot, but I can't see him. The cameraman's on the right. He's got a great angle of him, and he's probably thinking, why in the world isn't John drawing and shooting this bear? But I couldn't see him at all, or at least I couldn't see vitals, And then he turns and he starts to walk back, and now he's in my shooting lane that I know I've got a clear shot, but it's a hard quarter 2 shot, like really, really hard, where you start looking at it going ethically, like that's not a doable shot. And then I went ahead and went to full draw and said, screw it. I'm coming to full draw. All he has to do is just shift his body weight just a little bit. And you know how, like, if you're standing and you just kind of rock on your hips, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's basically what he did. He just kind of rocked on his hips. And I'm staring at his, I'm kind of looking at him like 3D. And I'm going, all right, 1 inch to the right and I'm catching shoulder. 1 inch to the left and I'm hitting guts. This has to be my shot of all shots. If I can lay this thing in here, I can clip the back of a lung, liver, diaphragm, and I'm golden. And it happened so fast. I mean, before I even had time to process it, I was squeezing the release, and I smacked the bear. I see my knock pop out of him about 10 feet later. And, we've all been there in that situation. You feel like you made a good shot. You saw where your arrow hit. It should be a fatal shot. But sometimes you just don't know unless you see them tip over or something like that. And Taylor spins the camera up to me, and he's just like waiting for me to say something. And I put my hand over my mouth, and I just go, whoo, like that adrenaline's dumping at this point, and I'm like, that's a big bear. Like that was a big bear, dude.
Take a shot, Ryan.
Yeah, right.
Sure, no problem.
Then,
hey, Johnny, real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Caddy Cowboy, we have Caddy Cowboy on the line right. Shabeen. We have Caddy Cowboy on the line right now. He's one of our sponsors, Scranton Motors and Scranton Power Sports. He had a quick question, real quick.
Yeah, I mean, we're just sitting here like literally pointing at each other, mapping out what it looks like to us. But are you and your cameraman in that same tree? Because you're talking about how he has a different angle than you do.
Yep. So I think the question that I heard, if he was asking if me and the camera guy were in the same tree. So we're both up. We're both in the same tree. they had the outfitter had a ladder stand set up in this area, but the ladder stand really did not work for us. It was set up for a right-handed shooter, and I'm a left-handed shooter. So we actually ended up trimming the lane a little bit wider so I could get my stand on the left-hand side of that tree. And unfortunately, that tree was really the best tree. I mean, we could have probably spent another couple hours trimming another tree. I had just driven through the night, and I wanted to get in the tree, and I wanted to get into hunt mode. I didn't want to be out there for a couple hours burning up, daylight hours, trimming lanes. So we kind of compromised and got into the tree that was probably the easiest to get into with minimal trimming. But yes, we're both in the same tree. I like doing that in that situation. I like being in the same tree. You can get probably better cinematic and good, really cool photos if you're in opposite trees. But like, I love the ability to communicate with the camera guy
or wake him up.
Or wake him up in a situation. So yeah, perfect. Like in that situation, if we would have been in different trees, like I would have had to yell to wake him up, and the bear would have definitely heard that. So
that explains why you had a different, not as good an angle on the bear as he did with the camera.
Correct. Yeah, because he was on the right side of the tree and I was on the left side. Being a left-handed shooter.
So you shot from the top into his shoulder.
Yeah. I shot from and normally I like to have the camera guy above me, but in this situation, the cameraman was actually below me. It's just the way that it worked out for that tree and for that particular set. Like I said, it wasn't ideal, but we just made it work.
And boy, did you make it work. Oh my God. So yo, just take us through the emotional experience when you hit that trigger, that clean release trigger.
So when I hit the trigger, like I said, the shot felt really good. I knew that I didn't pull my shot. I knew I put the arrow where I wanted, and now I did everything that I wanted to do, but was I 100% correct on the vital assessment? You know what I mean? And that anatomy of that bear. And then I immediately started double guessing myself. I'm like, he did shift his weight, but what if that didn't shift his vitals the way I thought it did? So I'm kind of like, oh man, I'm like, please don't booger this up. I mean, what a hell of a run this has been. This is the tail end of this trip. On my second trip chasing bears, but it is the first sit on 49 minutes of sleep. And then immediately I hear, I hear the big death moan, and then I just lost it. Like that, at that point was the first time in the hunt that I completely just lost it. I mean, dude, I was like shaking like a leaf, couldn't believe it. That was the rush of emotion, because I knew by hearing that sound, one, I knew he was close, and two, I knew he was dead. And Taylor lost it too. You can hear Taylor in the background. He's like, that is the biggest bear I have ever seen in my entire life, like on film, in person, whatever. And he's actually been on a couple of bear hunts up in New York. And he's like, dude, I have never seen a bear that big before, like ever. He's like, do you realize what you've just done? I'm like, I have no clue. What have I done? Where am I? Who am I? You know what I mean? Like I was a mess, man. It just, which is very, very different for me to like ever lose it like that. But lack of sleep and a frustrating year as a whole will do that,
I got a quick question, honest, before we move on. With the death moan, as you say, it was. Can you explain for some people what happens when a bear actually expires? Because a lot of people may not know about the bear moan.
Yeah. So, and again, this was something that I had to educate myself on. This is my first successful bear hunt, but 60-70% of the time, a bear, whenever he expires, will let out a big death moan. They call it a death moan, a death bawl, but it's just something that they do. They let out a big moan, it seems like. It's like I said, 60-70% of the time. And I know a lot of buddies that have killed bears, and they're like, I never heard one ever, and I don't know if it was too far, they just didn't hear it, or what, but this bear was 30 yards away, so it was very, very clear, to hear it. And actually, he did it twice, like back to back.
Does that happen with a gun?
I don't know. I don't know if a gun would be so fast of a kill that maybe they wouldn't do it. That I can't answer.
I could imagine.
I would be interested to know.
Yeah, me too. Because I could only imagine with a gun. Gun versus broadhead. They actually do say that a broadhead is more ethical in killing an animal because it's a quicker death, only because it bleeds more. And with a gun, you're kind of it's so fast that it kind of singes the blood vessels, and it has to be more of a precise hit, and that's why most people go for like the head or whatnot, because of just that. You're not enhancing the bleeding process, whereas the broadhead, essentially, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to accomplish bleeding out to make it a quick death. And to hear you describe that and hear the moan, or you say you heard the moan twice, it's like, wow, man, that dude was like trying to live but couldn't make it happen. And just for the record, what did that black bear dress out at?
515 pounds.
Jesus
Christ. Wow. What? After you took 100 pounds of guts out of it.
Yeah.
What?
That's insane, man. That's insane.
Yeah. Did you have a weight before it was gutted or dressed?
Well, so 515 was live.
Okay.
Yeah, 515 was live. So, after I knew it was down, we had tons of daylight. I mean, it was 7 p.m. and it's not dark till 8:30. So I called my buddies over there that were running the camp, and I said, okay, I shot one. And he's like, well, did you get on the ground and verify he's dead? I'm like, I heard the death moan. He's like, no, get down on the ground and go verify that he's dead. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to do that. I just wanted to call you guys and keep you guys apprised of what was going on. So we get down, we go check him out, and that's where the picture that I posted, like in the timber, we took that picture. And then we left, and I called them, and they said, well, come back to camp, and we'll hook up the Argo, and we'll get him out of there. So it took me and 4 other guys my size, basically, to drag. We backed right up to him, and we put like a rope around like armpits and stuff like that for some leverage. It took 5 of us drag him into the back of an Argo, and it took about 15 minutes to do that. I wanted no more. Like, I was done. You know what I mean? I had nothing left. I was spent. I'm like, Jesus, this is a big bear, And everybody started kind of commenting on his skull. They were like, but look at, he's a big bear, but look at his head. His head's like a 5-gallon bucket. And I'm like, his head actually does look kind of almost like unproportional, like to the rest of his body. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely is bigger in comparison to some of the other bear skulls and hairs that I've seen. And he said, we're not even going to field dress him out here in the dark. We've got him in the Argo. Let's just take him back to camp, and we'll go ahead and gut him there. So the camp was only a couple miles away. So we get him up, winch him up, and we field dress him there.
Hold on. You guys did some pictures first, right?
Yeah, yep.
All right,
yep.
So with a bear that big, how are you getting that head propped up so you can get that awesome shot with you, behind it?
Yeah. So, what we did is we went ahead and field dressed him and shoved some frozen water bottles, gallon jugs of water. We shoved those in his cavity, and it was so chilly at night. We just let him overnight stay in the garage, and then the next morning we actually used a skidder to move him around to get a couple of daytime photos, and then we started the caping process and quartering out meat, and basically I had all my game bags and. We're quartering and caping and quartering and caping, and I'm filling bags. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to go get more coolers. Like, I didn't know it was going to take up this much space, Once we got the skull out of him, then, now enough has set in. People have noticed him, seen him. Everybody's mind's starting to wonder, like, okay, how big is this skull? So we start taping the skull. And I'm hearing some numbers spout out, 22 and a half, 22, 7/16. And I'm like, wait a second, isn't that pretty big? So I start plugging away on the Googler. 23 inches is Boone and Crockett on a grizzly bear.
Holy
shit.
Whoa. You're right.
21 inches is Boone on a black bear.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait a second. You mean he's almost Boone and Crockett if he was a grizzly? Like, he's an inch and 7/16 over Boone as a black bear? And they're like, well, you're going to lose a little bit on dry time. So, of course, now I start looking that up. And everything I read is like, you might lose a quarter to a half inch on dry time and beetle time and stuff like that. And then, of course, you start looking in the record books. And I'm like, well, what the heck? What is the black bear record in Canada? Again, preliminarily, we'll find out what he dries out to be officially or whatever. We're pretty confident that he's going to go top 5, top 10 all time Canada with a bow.
What? Wow. Congratulations, man. That's insane.
Congrats for sure. Who's going to be measuring that?
I've got him back here in Iowa, so I'll look up whoever the local Boone and Crockett scorer is, in this area.
Well, actually, because you did bow, definitely look up Pope and Young, and
yep.
Because I have to. He's one of my best friends. Is look up Kurt Geyer, man, from WCB. He's a Pope and Young measure. Yeah.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I didn't know that.
He's one of many in Illinois, and I'm the only one in Connecticut. If I was close to you, I'd be honored to, but it's kind of a hassle. But Kurt Kurt's a little bit of a jaunt, but not. It would be cool. It'd be cool to see them measuring like on video. You know what I memean?
Yeah. Yeah. He's Kurt's only about 60 miles from me. He's actually going to be bringing his antelope down to Old Barn, so we might be able to work that out and just do it the same day he comes down here.
It'd be awesome to see that video, man.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. Like, and it's one of those things too. Like, I think I even said it on the podcast. Like, I'm happy with shooting like a 200, 250 pound bear. As long as he's a respectable bear that's lived a life and, gotten some sows under his belt, some notches on the bedpost. Like, I'm okay with that.
Bust a few nuts,
Yeah.
Shit.
Like, I'm cool with that. He's seen some life out there. He's survived some winters, like, I'm cool with that. I was not expecting this, like this was above any expectations that I possibly could have had. And, I got back home and one of my buddies goes, I know you like whitetails, but you might just want to start one-offing like shooting animals you've never hunted before, because you now have a Boone and Crockett antelope, first time you ever killed one, and now you got a Boone and Crockett bear, first time you ever killed one. I'm like, yeah, good point.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you just this is a perfect segue to kind of take us back through the experience, because you touched on it very lightly, and getting into this bear hunt. Dude, I'm on cloud 9 for you. It's just amazing. Your first successful Pope and Young is of this magnitude. It's just insane. So take us back a little bit, because you originally went to Canada for a bear hunt, and then you kind of shot down to Kentucky and took some badass photos.
Appreciate it.
And please feel free to dip into that, because we're advocates of who you took photos of and stuff like that. It'd be cool to get them on the show too.
For sure.
And just like take us through the process, because mentally, going to Canada and like coming out, I won't say unsuccessful, because the experience is success in itself, but just take us through the emotional process leading up to this amazing, victorious success.
Yeah. So, I was there and I was taking it all in the first time around. I was enjoying some ketchup potato chips and the local festivities and whatnot. And it was an awesome experience, like being in Canada. I had never been out of the country before. And I got to hunt. I hunted hard, just didn't see the bear that I wanted. And, whenever you leave any kind of a hunt, eating a tag, sure, you're taking away the experience, but you went on that hunt and you bought a tag because you hope to fill the tag. Let's not kid ourselves, right? So I was a little disappointed that, it didn't come together for me. But I started to realize too, like with bear hunting, you can be in a good area and you can have some intel that there's some bears that are in that area or not in that area or whatever. But, you're not calling to those bears. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not getting on the ground and going to those bears. So there's a lot of luck that comes in, right? And so I was processing that, like, you know, thinking I'm kicking myself, but there's really not a whole lot I could have done differently. Which to a guy like me, I find fault in that myself, because there was many days that I was actually considering getting on the ground and just trying to stalk one. But I had to kind of put on a different game face, and I had to go to Northwest Alberta to do a photo shoot for Ozonics. And I was there for 9 days. And the whole time I'm there, I'm locked in, I'm doing my photos, I'm doing my work for them, I'm shooting video, but I can't stop thinking about this bear hunt, because at this point I had already talked to them, and they had invited me back. So I knew I was going to get to go back. And I'm just like, man, get me out of Alberta. I want to get back to Ontario and chase bears again. I come home, change clothes, and I go to Kentucky, down to Whitetail Heaven, and Hannah Barron was down there hunting, and my good buddy Dexter Roberts, he was on that show, The Voice. Dude's a singer, man. He's got some pipes on him. And I always have a good time down there with Tevis and all of them. They're a hoot, and that's like my hometown. You know, that's where I grew up. It's where I went to high school at. So I was down there, and fortunately, like, there was a lot of velvet bucks hitting the ground, so it kept me busy. And there was one night we even did photos till 4:30 in the morning, and because, you know, nature of the beast, early season hunting, a lot of recoveries are done, you know, in the evenings and stuff, because they were shot late. So we, you know, I'm slamming photos, hanging out with Hannah. She's such an awesome girl. She gained a lot of respect from me. We knew each other. We didn't know each other really, really well. But I got a lot of respect for her. She went by herself to her tree stand, shot her buck, smoked it, runs 50 yards, tips over dead, did an amazing job. And then she gained more respect that night when we were processing the deer, and I was doing some photos, and she's got her sleeves rolled up, and she's quartering and processing her own deer. And man, she looked like Sam the Butcher from the Brady Bunch, cuz.
Maybe
she
a little
was in
hotter,
there
though.
slinging meat. Just slightly hotter.
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah, slightly. No, she's a beautiful girl, and I really gained a lot of respect for her. And I think I've touched on it before. But I'm very, very pro woman hunter. You know?
Oh yeah, she's definitely a slayer, and this is what I love, because this is what we promote. All of us as a collective here at the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is just the women slayers, the women hunters out there in the world. I mean, all of them, from like a Jess Byers from Follow Her Arrow, all the way to Hannah Barron, and all the way to like you know, from Skullbound TV. I mean, Jana Waller is
Melissa Bachman.
Oh, yeah, Melissa Bachman is sick. Yep. We haven't had the privilege of having her on soon. But also, I mean, they're all over. Yep. I mean, Carbon TV. Come on.
Yep, that's right. They're killing it. They're doing an amazing job, and you know, like, sometimes you can get around some celebrity hunters or any kind of celebrity, and you know, there's expectations. And she was like, you took some pictures of me? And I'm like, yeah, I actually took a lot of pictures of you. And she's like, oh my God, like, those are amazing. And then here's my Hannah Barron impression. She goes, I tell you one thing, you can take a darn photograph.
Sounds like something she would say, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just rolling, you know. But her dad, Jeff Barron, he was an awesome guy as well.
He's a character, man. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, but man, do I just want to shake his hand and give him a big bro hug, because that's someone I would definitely get along with, and like fry up some like catfish bites and really kick it throughout the night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, he's a hoot, man. He was super awesome, and like I said, and you know, Dexter was like, he was an open book too. I mean, I was asking him all kinds of questions about when he was on that show, The Voice and stuff. I'm like, is Blake Shelton actually really cool? You know what I mean? Like,
he's. I mean, who's he with now? I almost slipped up again. I'm trying to like bring back and retract the rated R a bit. You know what I mean? Maybe sound professional, but I mean, Gwen Stefani is like Damn.
What's up?
Smoke show.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He must be
Yeah.
cool as fuck, you know?
Smoke show, yeah. Gwen Stefani, she's in that like Jennifer Aniston category. Like,
I'm
they just
saying.
keep getting hotter as they get older, you know?
It's like fine wine.
You
It's like
guys
fine
forgetting
wine.
about Miranda Lambert?
Oh, well.
No one else? No?
I
Okay.
forgot.
right.
Once you said Gwen Stefani, I forgot.
I'm on Team Gwen.
Yeah. Team Gwen. Team No Doubt. Team No Doubt.
Yeah, I like that. Yo, I'm writing down my notes
yeah,
right now.
definitely.
Team No Doubt.
Yeah. Team No Doubt. And hey, in total sidebar, I actually, when I was younger, I went and saw, I was probably 20 years old, 19, 20, something like that. I actually went to go see No Doubt, Bush, and the Goo Goo Dolls. They were all together. And that was it was a good show until No Doubt came out. And they're like flying around like trumpets and trombones. And I'm just like, what? Like, is this a marching band? Is this like some ska stuff? Like, it was all over the place. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. I mean, they killed it. Just friggin' killed it, man. Like, that was a hell of a show, actually.
That's awesome.
So how old was this bear?
Yeah.
What bear?
There was a bear involved?
I mean, a minute ago, I swear.
What's her name? Gwen Stefani?
She could maul me.
Yeah. So you know, when I came home from Kentucky, I had to finish up some editing, and then transition, dump my whitetail clothes, get my like subalpine, go to my different camo, get different gear, so tree arms, and get everything for this hunt, get back into hunt mode. You know what I mean? Like grab my knives, and so potentially I was going to be skinning something, but get all the rest of my gear together and pack the truck up. And like I said, Taylor got here, and I was like, you sure about this? And he's like, I'm ready if you are. I'm like, well, we're hitting the road, man. So we just drove through the night, and there was a couple of times about 5, 6 a.m. where I kind of hit a wall, and I'm like, hey, I got to pull over and do some jumping jacks for a little bit, like wake up. But we rolled right back into camp, and I'm like, God, I was just here a month ago. You know what I mean? And I kept thinking, I'm a big superstitious person, and I know that, you should always have positive thoughts, see the goal line kind of mentality. But when I was there the first time, I could not help but have these thoughts of like, what's the conversation in the truck going to be like after I don't kill a bear? And then when I was on my way home, it was like deja vu. So the entire day that I was there, Monday, setting, hanging a set, climbing in there, getting the camera gear going, I started thinking, I'm like, I wonder what this will be like if I don't kill a bear. And I couldn't visualize it. I'm like, this is weird. Last time I actually could visualize it, and now I can't visualize this. And I looked at Taylor and I was like, I'm going to kill a bear tonight. Like, this is actually going to happen tonight. I know it's going to happen. Now, 4 hours later, I'm like, oh, I just look like a jackass making that statement. But then the bear walked out, so it was nuts.
Hey, go ahead, Trev.
Johnny, did you get my pictures of D-Rock yet?
Oh God,
I did. That thing is. Tell me that's like not just a jacket; it's like a robe.
Oh,
Like,
no.
That is made by Boxer World, which is the guys who make the legit robes for like Pacquiao.
Yeah.
It's legit.
Dude, that's awesome.
dude, I'm surrounded by really good people all the time.
Yeah. That thing is slick. Dude.
Whether I'm at home or out on the road, it's like I'm just very blessed to be surrounded around really good people, man.
But how about the tassels, though?
Dude, the tassels.
Dude,
the golden
that's what
tassels.
makes it right there. The tassels is what makes it. That brings it that old school flair.
Garrett Benner. That was all him.
Caddy's been playing with them the whole time.
Yeah. But, getting back to your bear story is it's just really, really amazing how you stuck to it and you were persistent to whatever it takes to succeed, man. And
that's it.
That's what I take out of your stories specifically is in anything in the world or in life in general is you really just stay persistent on your goal, and it's going to happen if you really want it. And the fact that the first time you envisioned yourself not being successful, right? And then the next time you're going in and you find yourself, you just can't envision you walking out without a bear.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't call that superstition. I call that the higher force. And I don't know if you're religious at all, but there's many gods out there in the world. But at the end of the day, there is that one higher force. Like, we're just a small little organism, and not to get too sidetracked, but if we want it bad enough, and we're constantly and consistently thinking of what we want to accomplish, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Sure.
Without a doubt.
Well, so here's, last time I was on, I told the story about the murder scene, and I had everybody's hair standing up on their arms, on that deal. I was in high school, and I lived pretty far away from my high school. It was, 25, 30-minute drive, to school. And I could have redistricted, but who wants to change schools when they're like a sophomore or a junior in high school, right? So I was on my way home from track practice, and to get home from my high school to my parents' farm, there's like 17 left turns and 4 right turns, and you know what I mean? And I turn on my parents' street, and there's this car that's been behind me ever since the parking lot. And I'm like, man, I am not like going home so they know where I live. I just threw it in park. I jump out, and I'm like, what? What do you want? What are you following me for? Trying to be like Billy Badass. And this lady and her daughter jump out of the car. They come running to me and just dive onto their knees. And the mom like grabs my hand. She pulls it out like she's reading my palm. Now, because this freaked me out so bad, I wasn't even thinking like pull my hand away. I'm like, oh, I'm a big pussy. What just happened? And she's staring at my hand, and she goes, oh my God, I finally found you. I'm like, you found what? And she's like, you're the chosen one.
What?
And I said, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, you're crazy. This is nuts. Like, and I'm kind of freaked out, but I'm like almost in shock. And the daughter is like squeezing my leg, just holding on for dear life. And she's like, I left Tennessee today, and I was told to come find you. And I found you. I finally, I found you. What do you want me to do? And I'm like, I want you to get back in the car and go back to Tennessee. And so she's like, you don't understand. You're the chosen one. You don't recognize what this is. And I'm like, you need to go now. You need to go now. So she gets in her car. She drives away. I get in my car. I drive home, and I walk in the house, and my mom still tells the story where I walked in the house, and I was just pale as a ghost. And she's like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's going on? Like she thought maybe something horrific had just happened. And I tell her the story, and she's freaking out. So about a year goes by. I'd kind of forgotten about it. And I'm downtown Lexington hanging out. And we used to all have like little rice burner cars, I had like an RX-7, with my Winkle rotary, my Gretty exhaust and everything.
Hell yeah.
We were all catting around, and, some buddies, they had Civics that were slammed and, with Gretty and exhaust, and we all thought we were cool. And there's this guy walking behind us, and he's getting closer and closer and closer. And I was a little more street smart than my buddy, and I'm like, hey, cuz, like, we got this guy. I don't know if he's like a hobo or what he is. He might try to mug us. I'm like, where's your wallet? And we were both repping like Etnies, like with oversized, jeans and like chain wallets. And I said, he's like, no, I got my wallet in my front pocket. I'm like, all right, we're good.
What, some Jenkos?
Yeah, Janko jeans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm picturing Jenko right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, I think he had on some Dickies, and I think I was on some Jenko or something. And I said, well, just hold on to your chain. Just don't let, this guy might try to mug us. And he's getting closer. He's getting closer. He's getting closer. And right when I can almost feel the guy's feet behind us, I just turn around and cock my fist back. Dude drops to his knees, and he goes, oh my God, I finally found you. You're the chosen one.
What?
It's happened to me twice in my life.
Jesus. Wait.
And
am I saying that?
Is that your middle name?
Should I say that? Should I say that? Jesus?
Yeah. So I'm just like, what? I'm like, what, my buddy's long gone. He's like, F this, dude. Like, I'm out. And he's picking them up, putting them down. And I'm just like looking at the guy, and I'm like, what did you just call me? And he's like, the chosen one. I'm like, why are you calling me I want answers. You know what I mean? I'm like, why are you calling me the chosen one? He's like, because you are the chosen one. And he's like looking at me like I'm stupid. Like, you don't know this? And then I kind of got freaked, and then I bolted. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, that was kind of a weird sidebar, but I just thought I'd share that story.
No, I actually we're fully invested in the story. You can't veer off of this, man.
You're
I'm
pulling
sorry.
jaws off the floor, dude. We're all just sitting here staring at each other like, what?
So I don't know what it is I'm chosen for, or if this is just a crazy, weird coincidence that this happened. That
was in totally different states, like right?
No, same state, just 30, 40 minutes apart or whatever. But
so do you have a bunch of good buddies that like to mess with you?
No. I mean, this guy was a straight up hobo. Like, I don't think anybody would have, rotted their teeth out just to play a gag. I mean, this was legit.
So how old were you at both separate times for this?
It happened to the same year. I guess I would have been like 17, 18 years old.
Was meth big in the town that you were from?
No.
Not yet.
That's not meth.
Not yet.
That's not meth, son. That's not
crack.
meth.
No.
That was crack back in our day.
No, that's definitely not crack either. That's definitely not crack.
No.
I'm telling you,
that's like some bath salt stuff,
It's something.
D-Rock lives in dirty water. He knows. Which one is it, D-Rock? Bath salts?
No, it's none of those, actually. That's pure organic, for sure. They found something organic that I'm not aware of because, trust me, I know all organic stimulants. And
it might have been so organic. They might have been licking frogs. I don't know.
I'm just saying. I don't know what kind of critters you got out there, but some poisonous critters, they were licking them.
Yeah.
No homo.
Yeah. Some ridgeback, Bohemian frog or something. I don't know. But, dude, I'm telling you, like, it freaked me out,
As it should.
Really. Yeah. Really,
Did you ever
really
go
freaked
see a
me out.
priest about it or something? Like, legit?
No. And that's the thing, I'm like, I was like, what do I do about this?
I'd be looking for somebody with like the most qualities I could find. I'd be like, are you a bishop? I have a question.
Yeah. And I'm like a tarot reader. Like I probably should investigate this more,
That's a really cool story. You know what? I love this about the show is, are you sipping on anything? Because you don't sound like it.
No, not yet. I'm actually going to hit the gym as soon as we're done.
That's what I'm saying, man. Just naturally on edge. And the fact that you can just come on the show and really just open up as if, like, some people can't do that naturally and takes a little kind of liquid courage or whatever their tincture they dabble in, But, I mean, like we said before, you're on cloud 9. So
always.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you told that story before on air?
On a podcast? I've never told that story.
That's dope.
That's the
dope
environment these boys create.
Well, we won't take credit for it, man. It's really you, man. You really, I don't know how to word it the best, but I mean, you have a story and it needs to be heard. And the fact that this bear hunt that brings you to the like euphoria, that it brings you it reminisces all these memories. It's like, it's just pretty damn rad, man, is what it is.
The chosen one.
And and it's one of those things, like, even though that was such a crazy thing that happened to me, it's not something I think about all the time. I mean, usually, once or twice a year, something will spark something. Maybe it's because I watched I watched Dogma, or something will happen, and I'll watch, and it'll spark that memory. But like I said, when I was there the first time, I could so crystal clear see myself driving back to Iowa without filling my bear tag. And then when I was there the second time, I could not. I was even trying to visualize what it would be like. I'm like, do you want to kind of prepare yourself for possibly being defeated and not getting a bear this time around? And I couldn't do it. Like, I could not put that thought into my head. And it was so weird, I'm like, man. And it made me start thinking about all that stuff back when I was, in high school. And I don't know, I'm like, is there something to this? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Do I have control over this or not? And I mean, people talk about, higher powers and spiritual thinking and mind over matter. And, if you guys geek out on and believe any of that kind of stuff, I mean, I genuinely think that you can change your future. Like, and not just, I'm gonna go to the gym and get in better shape, or I'm gonna eat healthier or whatever. No, I really think you can change your future.
Without a doubt, I'm a huge advocate and believer of that, because, I mean, that's what it's going to take. And at the end of the day, if you don't really take those proper steps, it's never going to change for you. Like, some people, like, oh, I wish I had a better life, or oh, I wish things could be different. It's like, well, it's up to us.
Go do it.
Yes.
Yeah, go get it. Yep.
I'm a huge advocate, as D-Rock is, for that, because, like, if you know, a lot of people they follow like a sheep, and then you can make your my father always told me every man's responsible for their own destiny, and that's something I live by every single day.
Sure.
For that reason being is that you don't have to be the sheep in life. Go against the grain, man. It's not fucking easy. I get it. I understand it. But
Trev's
you can
bloopers.
do it. But you can do it,
understands.
man. Like, you are responsible for your own destiny, and those things you change your end goal line.
100%.
It's all about you and what you fight for.
You know, and even the outfitter that I was hanging with, whenever they invited me back, they said, dude, like, you were such a pleasure to have in camp. Like, your positive attitude on day 1 is the same as you had on day 7. And that's another one of those important things. You know, always believing that it can happen. Now, forget the fact that I had just visualized myself going home, you know, eating a tag. I was still kind of suppressed that. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not, you know, like, I'm enjoying this hunt. I'm enjoying this hunt. And maybe I had checked out, you know, and I just didn't realize it. But this second go around, you know, I'm looking at this whole big trip, and I'm like, man, I have busted my ass. I've been scraping and, you know, banging out photos, hustling, working till 4:30 in the morning, doing photo edits for my clients and trying to do the best job that I can for them. And I was like, I'm here to hunt, and I'm like, I'm going to make this happen. Like, I'm driving through the night, whatever it takes, I'm going to make this happen. And it was a big turning point for me too. It was nice to have that big long run and then come out on top at the end. And it was kind of another one of those shot in the arms where it's like a little bit of confidence, you know, you're like, you know what, I can do this shit.
Hell yeah, man. And that's what we're all about too. It's just one of those things you're just grinding out, and it's something you're really good at. So it brings us to the ninja tip of the day, man. Is you made it to the next segment. I mean, you've been through this before. With this bear hunt, something that you've been trying to be really successful with, and you made it happen. What's your best ninja tip of the day now versus you being on earlier, now that you've had like significant success?
Bait early and go later in the season. So the difference that I learned from anatomy, because I did partake in some field dressing of some of the bears the first time around, the amount of fat that those bears had put on in 1 month is staggering. So that being said, it's just a reinforcement that I know those bears are eating more frequently, and they're starting, like we mentioned before, they're getting a little plate territorial, you know what I mean? So like, instead of bears like, I mean, I'm kind of hungry, maybe I'll go later on in the evening. It seemed to me like the bears were a little more active to food later in the season this time around. So anybody wanting to go to a bear hunt, I actually would recommend people going later in the season, where food is more of a thing for them, that a necessity instead of a want. And then the other thing is, if you're going to go hunt with an outfitter, or if you're going to be hunting on your own bait sites, get those bait sites going and keep them active for a couple weeks. You know, make it a habit, you know, make sure all the bears in the area know that that's a bait site, not just, you know, it's been a bait site for the last couple of days. And that was one of the things I had talked to the outfitter. I'm like, can you do me a favor? Can you make sure that that bait barrel is chocked full every single day for 2 weeks before I get there? And they're like, okay, whatever, telling us how to do our job. But it was just a theory, you know what I mean? I'm like, I want that to be a consistent feed site for them. And then those big bears, they don't get to like lollygag around. You know, they're like, man, if I don't get up off my ass and go eat during the daylight, those other little bears are going to get in there and eat all my shit. So like, you know, they were a little more forced to come out a little earlier in the day, which put them into shooting light hours.
Hell
so that's
yeah,
my
man.
ninja tip.
That's super solid, man. You know what I mean? Go against the grain and definitely, if you have a feeling, voice it, because sometimes it'll pan out. And in your case, I mean, dude, I can't even imagine. Before we get to our last segment of the show, I really want to know exactly what you've been going through as far as the process of bringing home all that meat, how you're prepping it, you know, like what are your thoughts on, because obviously you must have a ton frozen. What are your future plans with all this extra meat and harvest?
So I'm going to, with backstraps, I want to do some different, I want to do some bear steaks, you know, I definitely want to try that, do some bear kebabs. I have 4 legs, you know, complete quarters that I brought back, and I'm guessing each one of them probably weighs about 25 pounds, maybe 30. Jesus. And so, those I'm actually going to do, I'm doing all sausage, bear sausage and that, and, maybe a little bit of jerky, but probably all bear sausage is what it's looking like at this point. And then I also brought some fat back. I really am very, very interested in rendering down some of the fat, and making some like soap and some lotions and stuff like that. While we were field dressing and caping, you know, you're constantly moving the bear, manipulating the bear. I'm trying to help out and stuff. And your hands are covered in bear fat. So I grab a rag and wipe my hands completely clean. And then I even went and washed my hands, you know, with soap and water, dried them off. And I'm like, damn, this feels like I just put lotion or moisturizer on my hands. But I've already washed my hands. So normally when you wash your hands, you wash it all off. I'm like, but they're not greasy. I'm like, man, my hands feel kind of good right now. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not going to lie. I was like, I kind of like this. So, you know, I started reading a little bit more about all the different uses. And that's another thing that I've kind of gotten into is really use everything you can from the animal. And, you know, most people would just chuck the fat, right? But I'm like, you know, you can render that stuff down, and you can, like I said, you can make lotions and soaps and stuff like that out of it. So I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that process, heating it up slowly, and like I said, rendering it down and getting the raw oil. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. But so right now I've got, I don't know, probably 150, 175 pounds of bear meat.
Wow.
Yep.
So I'm coming over for dinner.
I'm telling you, dude.
Shit.
I mean, I'm a big, I love meat, a big carnivore. So, you know, the biggest thing too with bear meat is, because of the type of animal that they are, you know, trichinosis is a valid, serious concern with bear meat. You know, you have to get that bear meat cooked thoroughly, up to 160 degrees and more. Or I should say over 160 degrees to kill the trichinosis, which is it's a parasite that basically kind of lives like in a little type of a cyst type pocket. And if it's not cooked to that temperature, that parasite will actually embed itself and it tries to burrow into your stomach muscles and stuff like that. Extremely painful. It is treatable, but we're talking serious diarrhea, just nausea, a lot of pain and stuff like that. Actually, Steve Ranella and his crew from Meat Eater, they all got trichinosis on a hunt one time, and it was very, very unpleasant. So that's the big thing, just making sure you get the meat. So unfortunately, as much as I like to have, like, you know, medium meat, there won't be any of that. Everything's going to have to be well done. You just do not want to take any chances of trichinosis. But other than that, bear meat's, you know, good.
Hell yeah. Slow cooker and chili is what it sounds like to me. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. Hit it, Ryan. Been through this before, Johnny. So, what rattles your antlers? John Mulligan, I mean, a.k.a. Johnny Utah, you've been on the show before, and you give us what rattles your antlers before, but, I mean, now after this bear hunt, there's got to be a little change in the bad blood, so to speak. And what really bothers you?
Bad blood is, when you're hunting with outfitters, you get all walks of life. You get some people that they've been saving their pennies for years and years and years to go to an outfitter, and some people are very blessed financially, and they get to go to outfitted hunts all the time and kind of throw their weight around. What rattles my antlers is when you're in camp, everybody is there for their own reason, and they got there by their own means, however that was. Respect everybody that's there, whatever their goal animal is that they want to shoot, whatever time they're there. They bought their tag all the same. Just because a person has a bunch of money doesn't make them a good person. They can still be a dick. So, now that I've had a chance to hang around some different outfitters and stuff like that, you see all walks of life. Some camps are better. Just don't ever be the dick in camp. Always be the upbeat guy, encouraging everybody to keep out there fighting a good fight, chasing after the animal, and always remember what you hunted for, while you're there.
Amen, brother. Don't be a dick. That's what I
Don't
think.
be a dick. I've been on that for a little bit here lately. I had a post not too long ago about bullying, and that was my hashtag at the end of that was just don't be a dick.
I'm saying.
I'm cracking the shit into that. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
That's pretty different than a lot of the other rattles your antlers too.
Well, I'm just saying it's real though, and
hell yeah, it is.
That's what Johnny is, man. I mean, he's got a long history of just really raw, real, no bullshit, and really being upfront with everything that he does. And not to speak of you in third person, but I mean, John Mulligan, you're the shit, man, and I just can't wait. Or we all can't wait to just give you one big bro hug and really meet once and for all. And
the
chosen one. Like if I hug the chosen one in my lifetime, hey, I will die a happy man.
You're gonna shit whenever we come in contact, and I'm like, you can kiss the ring.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that, man, because I recently got married. I don't know if you know that. And
no, what the hell? Really?
Yeah, on August 3rd. And
dude, congratulations!
Thanks,
awesome.
man. Thanks. Talking about kissing the ring, all these boys that are in this room right now were at the wedding, and the best way I could describe this ring, I'm a big super nerd. I was one of those jocks that always protected the nerds, only because I was always a nerd myself.
Yeah,
and I have the Ring of Power, my friend. Lord of the Rings, I have the ring.
You got the ring. That's awesome.
I have the ring. I mean, it's got that elven script on the inside and out. I mean, one ring to rule them all. What better way?
That's right. Yeah. That is hilarious, dude. I dig it, man. That's awesome. Congrats.
Thanks,
how long were you guys together before you got married?
Yeah. You know what? It's all going to come to fruition. Everyone's going to meet, and I look forward to the future, man. So around the positivity, John Mulligan, lead us off, please.
Dude, man, thank you so much for you guys having me on here. You guys, like I said, you guys are the real deal, and being able to just share the hunt. Like, this is hunt camp, you know what I mean? It kind of feels like hunt camp, and we're all just kind of sitting around bullshitting. And I wish all you guys the best of luck this season. Everybody go out there, do the right thing, hunt ethically, hunt smart, hunt hard. Don't apologize for being a hunter, but never give the antis any ammunition either. Clean it up, do the right thing, and we'll all have something we can keep hunting this privilege that we all love and embrace, you know?
Word. Trev, what do you got?
Round of positivity. Deer season's finally here. the East Coast teams got a couple of
a few,
maybe
more.
Yeah, well, a couple.
Maybe
on the
more.
ground. The freezers are full, but honestly, man, I definitely learned something, and I definitely want to circle back on this. Is that see the goal line? That's a huge thing I take away from this, because that's the truth of it. Is that and not only that, not only see the goal line, but you can change the goal line. Is definitely something I take from it, and it's a huge positive thing. And as far as the deer season goes, guys, see the goal line and execute it.
Word. I like that, Trev. Good one, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
This dude's evolving over here before our eyes. Ryan, what you got?
Oh, guys, I mean, what the hell happened tonight? We had the chosen one on the podcast. And then
I love it.
D-Rock gets his daddy D-Rock robe. I mean,
the Podfather robe.
The
I know.
Podfather
Insane.
robe, man.
Insane,
101th. Is that what was?
101st.
101st. That's what we
No,
want.
101th if you're Mexican, but 101st if you know English.
Okay, Coventry also could be 101th.
101st episode. We had the chosen one, and D-Rock got his robe, man. I mean, what a freaking experience, you know. And of course, we had Johnny Utah on for the second time. Caddy Cowboy comes in, graces us with his presence, and can't be more thankful for anything. D-Rock and Trev, congratulate you guys on getting your kills for the year. You guys deserve it well. And Caddy and I are up next, so 'tis the season, and congratulate you all. And here's to the next upcoming season.
Amen, brother. Caddy Cowboy, what do you have, man? Round of positivity.
Don't be a dick.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Don't be a dick. And the good news that for me is we have a whole nother episode with this dude that I want to listen to, which is a lot more about the people who came, ran, and fell at his knees, telling him he's a chosen one. Like, are you still in touch with them? Have you guys been to counseling? I mean, I have a lot more questions. But we'll leave those for another time.
Amen. I like that. I like that. It leaves room for part 3.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So round of positivity that I bring to the table is the 101st episode of East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, featuring John Mulligan, a.k.a. Johnny Utah, slaying a big-ass Pope and Young. Maybe one for the books for Canada in itself, and being the chosen one. So, I mean, shit. On that note, stay stepping.
Stay slaying.
Podcast go straight to hell. Yeah. Speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
We keep it real on the East Coast. First of all, I'm addicted to the show.
I like that. That's cool.
Full bore hunt. You live it. You breathe it. It's a whole different world.
Just East Coast has a little bit more of an edge and a grind. It's a fantastic thing. You guys are fucking awesome.
Well, number one is you guys like beer. I want to feel like I'm hanging with the boys.
You're the guys that showed up.
But I actually saw Jesus.
The point where it is now, where it's insane.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
I just want to get the realest people possible in the industry. If you're not pissing people off, you're not doing it right.
Nothing forced, all fucking natural.